why have you bought him a label maker? You know what he's like.
Because he wanted one and he said it would make organising things much easier.
Wall? Well, if he comes anywhere near me with that thing, I'm holding you personally responsible. What he's done to Dan is basically office bullying.
Look, just go and film your video. I'll try and calm him down. Light switch.
Hello, you've caught me in a brand new set where... Oh my God. Oh, it's driving me mad. I can't take much more of this. I need to break something, to smash stuff into tiny pieces, blow stuff up, grind it into a paste and shoot it off into space. Thank God for destructible video games then. Not a moment too soon, here are 7 beautiful game worlds we really enjoyed smashing to bits. You can't talk about destruction in games and not include Battlefield, one of the destructiest game series in history, the poster boy of collapsing buildings and watching your brittle cover crumble into nothing as your fragile flesh and bone avatar is left desperately exposed to bullets and rockets and grenades and death, basically. Our first entry is Battlefield 1, a game I've chosen simply because the novelty of destroying buildings in a leafy World War I setting still hasn't worn off yet, and I love the slow mechanical chug of the weapons and vehicles with which you can reduce the world to scrap. The cool thing about destruction in Battlefield 1 is that it's tactical rather than simply cathartic. You're not just wrecking stuff for the sake of it. I mean, sure, nothing satisfies that primal urge to destroy, quite like getting in a tank and levelling entire buildings by rolling into them. But what you're also doing by reverse engineering entire villages is reducing the amount of potential cover available for enemies to hide in. Try cowering behind that now, tactical players. Like a toddler thinking they've won a game of chess simply by smashing all the pieces off the board. In Battlefield 1 you can also create using destruction. Find a soft patch of terrain, anything grassy or muddy is usually perfect, and you can blow a hole in it wide enough to hide in and use as cover. So if you find yourself with no buildings to hunker down in because a tank has come blundering through, set up a little fox trap and wait to take them out when they least suspect it. That or get run over, which to be honest is far more likely. Entry number 2 has nothing remotely tactical in it, it's just about making things loud and orange. Lovely, lovely Just Cause 3, exactly the game I need after suffering Dave, Master of Labels, the perfect anarchic antidote to rigid militarised organisation, which when translated into video game means... Oh, like sinking into a lovely hot bath at the end of a hard day's work.
And what would you know about a hard day's work, Mr. Sit on the sofa and talk about games?
You're here, are you? Great. What are you wearing?
I haven't found the box with my dress in yet.
Probably should have labelled the boxes. Anyway, back to Medici, the fictional Mediterranean republic in which Just Cause 3 takes place. Now, in terms of the environment, it's not actually that destructible. For instance, you can't blow holes in the sides of mountains. But there's so much here that's been built for the sole purpose of being violently unbuilt that we just had to include it in the list. And as we said previously, there's nothing remotely tactical or clever about Just Cause 3's destruction, but then there doesn't need to be. This is unapologetic bombast, and the satisfaction of destroying an enemy fortress using a combination of ridiculous weapons and a parachute is simply unrivaled.
It's not very realistic, is it?
You're not very realistic. Our third entry is this little indie game you might have heard of called Minecraft. Now, Minecraft is always thought of as a very creative game, and that's absolutely true. It's often likened to virtual Lego in that you can ignore the rules and build whatever your imagination dreams up. But what you can also do in Minecraft is literally punch the world into nothing. That's right, almost every single building block in Minecraft can be broken down and destroyed. It's perhaps testament to my imagination that the very first thing I did when breaking my Minecraft duck was burrow down as far as I could go, straight to the bowels of Minecraft hell, and then spend about 2 hours trying to work my way back out again. So yes, Minecraft is like virtual Lego in that if you can think it, you can pretty much make it. But it's also like virtual Lego in that when you see it made, it's really, really good fun to kick it to bits.
Robert! Have you destroyed Elsa's magical ice palace again?
No. Our fourth entry is the most recent instalment in that series everyone's played and loved at some point, Worms. Worms WMD in this case is a classic example of the 2D multiplayer destroy 'em up, where the whole point of the game is to make as much mess as possible. You can destroy every single pixel in Worms, and personally I'm not happy unless A, all my enemies are dead, and B, everything they've been standing on. Is there anything better than ripping a hole right through the fabric of an enemy worm's existence, blasting bits of earth into the air as their fragile, fleshy bodies sail into the invertebrate afterlife? Probably not. And you get to do it with such a wonderful array of eccentric weaponry, bazookas, tanks, sheep. Sheep are by far and away the most dangerous animal in the Worms verse. And the most effective when it comes to tearing up the environment. Their blast radius is staggering. They're like little woolen terraformers. You know, you see all these post-apocalyptic alien invasion movies where advanced civilizations bring in heavy machinery to cultivate our planet to their liking. Save some money, guys. We've got an abundance of sheep you could use instead. Our fifth entry, Rainbow Six Siege, shrinks the destruction focus to one multiplayer map, but in so doing drastically ups the intensity. This is a game where every action matters. Once you're dead, that's it. And so making the most of your environment, that is to say, making it blow up in your opponent's face, is really important. It's one of those games where the freedom with which you can destroy stuff slowly dawns on you, like, so I can put holes in anything? Pretty much. And like Battlefield, there's a satisfying tactical bent to the destruction. Sure, you can set charges and blow big holes in walls to directly take out the other team or to create a shortcut through the map. But perhaps even more satisfying is sneakily putting a little hole in the wall to snipe through, or to just scope out the location of the other team. One thing is for certain though, reducing an entire level to a mound of bricks and dust with lovely big guns is a thing that never gets old, especially when you can take someone out at the same time. Oh, lovely. Next up, we've got From Dust, an awesome god sim from 2011 that lets you slurp up the earth itself as if through some magic celestial straw, and then deposit it wherever you like, with the idea of helping the game's tribespeople build a new home while surviving the depressingly frequent natural disasters that plague the land. And while this is absolutely not a game about destroying things, you're supposed to be reshaping the earth to help these people avoid disaster, there is a sort of awe-inspiring beauty in the immense power and size of civilization-devouring tsunamis and volcanoes that belch ash and lava right where you don't want it. The thing I've learned with God games, however, is that it's a really good job I don't actually have divine powers in real life, because if I did, the world would be even more screwed. Because I just can't help myself. I mean, when I played From Dust, the tribespeople must have despaired of their deity, because no matter what they did, I just thought it would be interesting to see what happened if I, didn't save them from the massive wave. Plus, if you're a regular viewer, you'll know I have a weird, nerdy infatuation with water physics in games, so this is like Christmas as far as I'm concerned. Come on in, enormous wall of water, envelop the land with your swirly liquid beauty. Sorry, tribespeople, being evil is just way too much fun, I'm afraid. Time for our final entry now, and it's a game the name of which I'm sure many of you have been screaming since the video began. Red Faction Guerilla. Oh, the sledgehammer, the wonderful, wonderful sledgehammer. Is there a better weapon in all of gaming when it comes to blind, mindless, fun. You can just take it to anything that isn't the planet Mars itself. Literally anything, any structure you can level. There's a warm intimacy in destroying things with a hammer though, isn't there? I mean, yes, blowing holes in walls with a shotgun feels great, but getting up close and personal and just oh, I love it. I'm trying to remember anything about the story in Red Faction Guerilla. I think it had something to do with, some buildings and other structures being really mean and stuff, and you had to go around and destroy them. That's what I did anyway. Just smacked everything I could with that hammer. Oh, it's so good. I don't know how Volition did it, but there's something about the way stuff breaks in Red Faction Guerilla that's just so Moorish. It's like an addiction, and when you combine destruction with taking out an enemy by leveling a bridge they're standing on or wrecking their cover and leaving them exposed, this truly was a game that was made to be unmade. I can only liken it to being chucked in a room made entirely of bubble wrap and then going to town. It's irresistible and it's magic. And boy am I glad I got that out of my system, because I'm not sure how much more I can take of Dave and his labels. A hammer and a wall cures everything then. Can you think of any other games with amazingly satisfying destruction that we haven't included? Let us know in the comments. Click like if you enjoyed the video, and please do subscribe to Access if you haven't yet, so you don't miss any of these videos every Friday. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.